Hello to any replayers. If you are a replayer, you can still participate. Swipe right on Apple or on Android to follow me, so you can catch not just this broadcast, but any replays in the future, or join me live. And you can, of course, tap on the screen for hearts. And if you miss the live presentation and you're like, I have a burning question, you can find me on Twitter at joannazarach. You can find me on Snapchat at joannazarach. And I am happy to answer your questions. All right, straight back from the gym, because we talk about investing in ourselves in our old age. We should all be exercising a little bit more. So I'm a little bit flush, but that's the price. That's the price you pay of trying to fit everything into a day. So for anyone who's live and who's new to me, my name is joannazarach, and look, it's glasses today. I broadcast about money every single day, and the reason I do that is because I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to liberate people from their money woes and to break down the barriers that people put up for themselves to achieve financial freedom. And I'm pretty excited, you know, like this week, I'm gaining some momentum in terms of like just getting some individuals. Like I've told you guys, I'm in hand-to-hand combat to improve people's financial situation. So whether you're in debt and you're trying to get out of it, whether you're, just haven't gotten your hands around your money yet, or even if you're, a high-level investor and you're like, where's my money going? Because my financial advisor's taking a lot of it. At any stage in life, you can benefit from having someone encourage you to take control of your money. So here I am today. Today, Task It Tuesday. So on every Tuesday, I talk about a task that we should all have. And this one kind of hits close to home. And even though I'm like a little do your own taxes Nazi, and I'm like always, take care of it, make sure you understand tax code, and I do. I've gotten a little bit sloppy. And my sloppiness comes from overestimating how much I owe. I'm basically not doing the math. So because I'm a business, I'm self-employed, I have to calculate and pay estimated taxes, and this is like ridiculously overpaying my taxes every quarter because I'm not doing the math, right? I'm not just using a little simple tool to get a little bit more diligent about my tax bracket for all of these things, just using a very rough estimate. So one of the things that, why this is important. So it's not just if you're a business owner. So I want to talk about estimating the impact of your taxes in 2 or 3 different areas. And of course, Wednesdays walk the walk. So I'm going to work on, of course, this is going to be a Google spreadsheet now because that's my thing to do, that I'm going to make available on my Twitter. I don't know if people are using my tools, but I'm creating them because I'm going to be meeting with families. Like I'm meeting with one tonight. I had another person in Chicago who wanted to meet. And then on Snapchat, I have a fairly young person who's like, what's an IRA, right? So I can answer questions for people at any stage because I'm just very passionate and very knowledgeable on the topic, and I do it on myself. So back to taxes, though. So why is it all important to estimate your taxes and get better at it? So again, if you're a business owner or 1099, so if you have, when we talked at length of who's a business owner, but if you are responsible for paying your own taxes, including payroll taxes, if you're estimating, you want to get within the parameters that the IRS lets you get. And basically they, as long as you pay, I think 90% of your tax or 110% of what you paid last year. So like the IRS kind of gives you a pass on being super accurate, but it says, look, you should use your history and you should pay adequately. So you can either underestimate or overestimate, right? And each has its, disadvantages. So we want to get a little bit more narrow in terms of how much taxes you owe if you are a 1099 employee. Because you also, or a business owner, because I do think it impacts us tremendously, and I think people aren't paying attention to it. They're not planning for it adequately, and they're not even looking at the revenues that they need to cover their tax bill. The second thing is for people who are W-2 employees, and this one I hear a lot, right, is you get a big tax refund. And so and I know everyone's like, whoa, money, this is great. And, as many a personal finance article will lead you to believe, you overpaid. You basically could have been using that money throughout the year. And why is this important? For anybody who carries credit card debt, you could have paid off your credit cards. You could have been lowering your cost of that all through the year, right? So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, please don't count on that refund to like pay everything off. Like really think about how you can harness the power of that cash flow earlier on. Obviously, you have to have some discipline if you're just going to take this extra money and be like, woohoo, extra money, instead of sort of managing it so that you can build your wealth. Then I can see why. But most people aren't even that disciplined when they get the refund. They're like, woohoo, vacation, or woohoo, big TV. So if you're getting a big, and what do I mean by big refund? Like, I think like if you're less than $1,000, that's probably, to me, that's a small refund. When I think of a big refund, I think multi-$1,000. So if you're getting $3,000+ of a refund, I'm like, oh, that's a big refund. Like maybe you can change something, and then people really hesitant to change their W-4, which is where you show the number of exemptions. And so I'm going to incorporate into my calculator. So I'm going to have a 1099 calculator and a W-2 calculator, because I'm of a firm belief that like one extra exemption is going to be around 1,000. Again, depends on your tax bracket, right? Like if you're in the really high tax bracket, that extra exemption might be like $1,200 in terms of your reducing your refund, right? And it's not reducing your refund like you're going to get less. You're just going to get that money throughout the year. So if you're getting 12 paycheck, right, you're going to get that extra $100 a month, or if you're getting 26 paychecks, you're getting maybe a 50 extra bucks in your paycheck. And again, if you're getting like, let's say you're getting $5,000 in a refund, and you could put 2 extra exemptions on your W-4, because again, it's not like the government's like, oh, well, you put 6 exemptions and only 4 people living here. It's really just the exemptions are a metric for the payroll companies to figure out how much tax they need to withhold. And so that's like what the W-4 is for. And then in addition to that, if you have itemized deduction versus standard deduction, right? So the calculation for payroll companies assumes a standard deduction. But if you actually have an itemized deduction and it's significant, right? Let's say standard deduction's around like 10 or so. And if you have an itemized deduction of 20, that's going to make your refund even bigger. So you may want to even up your W-4 exemption number. So that's what I'm talking about when I said the impact of taxes. The third thing that I always harp on is taking advantage of any tax, anything that's available to you that says tax. It's a tax favored account, right? For the W-2. I don't know. You'd have to ask the payroll. Usually they have them, like, I think some companies are a little bit more disciplined to get their employees, like they're a little bit more on it. So you would have to contact your payroll department. I'm pretty sure you can change it. Like, I don't know. Like, so the answer is, I really don't know. I haven't filled a W-4 form in so long. I think that I'll contact your payroll department. I think the answer is yes. I'm going to research it further to see, like, I'm going to Google it and say, when can you change your W-4? Because I can imagine, like, what if you had, your marital situation change, or you had kids throughout the year, right? Like some people may want to adjust it. So I know that people generally do it twice a year, but if you'd ask your payroll department and you get an answer, please come back and report, because I'd like to be able to like have something for everybody else. The thing that I harp on is tax favored accounts, right? So whether it's your FSA, which is a flexible spending account, a lot of companies offer these programs. They're either for healthcare costs or for dependent costs. And if you can, and a lot of people like don't realize like dependent costs are typically to cover to cover childcare when both parents work, and but then also like summer camps, like so for older children, they can't cover tuition, but they can cover like after school programs or summer camps that are not away camps. So there are many different costs associated with childcare that will qualify for the flexible spending account for the dependent care. Then there is like transit programs where either your parking or your public transportation is tax free. Basically, they'll like put a deduction, and then any little bit you can do to protect yourself from taxes is great. And of course, the retirement plans. Right. So if you have a 401k that's offered toward, please, like your aim needs to be to maximize it. And you need to be like, how do I get to maximize it? Like, how do I get to that? That should be always your goal. And if you don't have a 401k at work, you can do an IRA. Like an IRA is a vehicle that's open to most people. You have to have earned income or a spouse that has earned income to open an IRA, because that's one of the requirements. And then if you're a solopreneur, if you're a business owner, so I speak from experience, and because I'm a solopreneur, I have an individual 401k, and I strongly believe that that is the best plan out there for if you're just a single person. So you're 1099, you are a business owner, you're a solopreneur, you can open your own 401k. And that is one of the best vehicles to protect your wealth building from taxation, because it's like that level of contribution is like not just the employee contribution, but you can contribute 25% of your profits into it. So that is huge, huge, huge in terms of wealth building. So that's really thank you for the hearts. That's really the message for today. Is the task is to get better at estimating your own taxes. So look at your tax situation. Again, if you're getting a tax refund, and I'm guilty of this as well, so I really need to tighten up my estimated tax payments, because I'm going to have to make one in April, like for this quarter, right? And so I need to get better at sending less money to the government. So, so I'm going to build a calculator that's a little bit more responsive to the actual income levels and the tax brackets, versus just going, this will cover it, right? This will cover it. That's been my lazy answer to it. And I think that's it's bad. It's a bad. I have a bad habit when it comes to overpaying my what I owe. So I need to do that. So tomorrow, that's what we're going to be doing, walk the walk, where I go through the exercise of saying, crap, I really need to get better at this. And so I'm going to be creating the calculators on the spreadsheet to do a better estimation of what I owe. But I'm also going to do a separate calculator where if you're a W-2 worker, we can try to see what information you need to put in to figure out, like, if you add in an exemption, what would the impact be at each tax bracket and each, filing status, and each, spouse, when your spouse works versus when you just still have one income. That all matters. And so, but it's a series of logical steps, which I love because it's programmable, right? I can program it into spreadsheet and the guts behind it, and you'll just be like, here's my situation. I'll be like, well, if you're getting 5,000 and this is your situation, if you put 2 more exemptions, then your refund is going to be estimated to be X, right? Or if you have a really high itemized deduction versus standard deduction. And then finally, the calculator that shows you the tax impact of, like, if I contribute $5,000 to my dependent flexible spending account, and I'm in this tax bracket, again, because we're going to program it in, how much do you gain in terms of the tax relief? And it's hidden money. It's hidden money that goes to your bottom line that I think, like, people are really, it's the positive hidden money, right? Versus there's a lot of negative hidden money, like a lot of hidden fees in your life. But this is one of the things where that's like, you've gotta, if you leverage it consistently, all of a sudden you're like, oh, like, it feels like we're not struggling as much, the paycheck seems a little bit bigger because you're getting the reimbursements, and your paycheck's a little bit bigger because of the lesser tax. And so it's just a little bit at a time, right? It's the hidden money that comes to you. So that's it. Please, if you have a tax estimation that you're working on, or if you have a question around it, ask. And then tomorrow we're going to be going through the tools that are going to be on my Twitter feed, so that you can hopefully, if you don't have that, that's something you can do. Because again, there's so few levers to really make a difference in your wealth building. And we know what they are because I talk about them all the time. It's your income, number 1. The taxation of your income is number 2. How you invest and how much return you get on investments. And by the way, I put a calculator yesterday on my Twitter to show you the difference between, like, an advisor fee, high cost mutual fund and a Vanguard fund over time. And it's pretty shocking. Even like when I do the calculations, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money at the end of 10 years. And so investments and keeping more of it, getting a better return, big purchases, and of course risk. And today at 5 o'clock Chicago time, I'll be talking about risk. I think we underestimate risk, and I want to talk about it. And it's not to, like, make you worry, make you crazy, but I think there's 3 or 4 things that you need to plan out. And you need to mitigate. And it depends on your situation, right? It depends on where you are in life, who else is depending on you for income, or for to sustain you. And we'll talk about, like, how to mitigate it in both, whether there's products you purchase. So I have term life insurance, or if you are, if you just, nope. beep, and you can do like, but there's other cases of what would you do if, right? And that's to just really help you think through like what are your steps that you need to take to mitigate it. And just to have a plan, right? Like if this happened, that these are this is kind of this is how my life changes, and that's how I think about risk. And I think that if we do a little bit more planning, then we don't get caught in a panic. And also should inspire you to like have the emergency savings and whatever insurances you need and everything, and to put in part of your money plan, right? So, because at the end of the day, I just want you guys to have a money plan and to feel secure in it. But the big events are what really throws people off. Big life events, divorce, death, disability. Then even like the positive things also throw you for a loop, right? Job loss, right? Okay, that's it for today. I gotta run. I gotta go to get a doctor's appointment because I take care of my health. Nothing wrong with me. I just go for checkups. I got a dermatology checkup, and then I gotta schedule a general physical checkup, even though I have my like annual wellness thing through my husband's work on Thursday, and I'm like, in addition to it, I should just see my physician and be like, this lump thing, what's going on with that? So take care of yourself, take care of your health, and tomorrow we'll be doing more estimating on tax impact with the calculator. All right, see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.